There are times when the Cape is fair and times when it's stormy, but even a wet Cape Town didn't prevent Volvo from launching an updated V40 hatchback. Volvo would like to think of itself as a premium brand, and anybody who's driven the ultra-luxurious and globally renowned XC90 SUV will agree. But that wasn't always the case. Back in 2012, when it launched the slightly quirky V40 hatchback, it considered the car to be a competitor for other premium hatches. But for most people, it was a slightly left-of-centre choice. 4 years later, the car has been quite successful in volume terms, and now Volvo has upgraded the car in an attempt to make it more luxurious and more premium too. The V40 has some tough rivals to contend with, including the Audi A3, the BMW 1 Series and the Mercedes-Benz A-Class. The Swedish brand's reputation is certainly a cut above the mainstream, but its core attraction is high-tech safety rather than cosseting luxury or dynamic talent. Even so, the mildly updated V40 still clearly reflects a vital streak of character and individuality. Unless you're a Volvo expert, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between this latest updated V40 and the original. However, if the weather gets as gloomy and as misty as it is at present, one of the first aspects you'll notice is the headlight design, and that is completely new. They call it Thor's hammer, and it's an LED headlight signature that is quite unique to the Volvo brand. You could of course say the same about the V40's styling, which is smart, distinctive and proudly Volvo. The update hasn't tampered with a silhouette that's almost more compact station wagon than hatchback, but also retains a certain sporty flair. Detail changes include the grille, which gets vertical bars, and a host of new wheel design options. A part of the Volvo V40 upgrade program has been an enhanced interior, and as much as this layout is still very much the same, there are some differences as far as materials and finishes are concerned. Now, usually we'd expect a premium car to be decked out in leather upholstery, but Volvo have opted for something quite different. It is an option, but this sort of weaved look is certainly a little bit off the wall and maybe an attempt to attract a slightly younger audience. That so-called city weave interior will please hipsters and fashionistas, but more traditional leather remains the standard execution. City weave does make for a lighter, breezier cabin, however, while also highlighting the interior's crafted execution. That said, the switchgear heavy center console and small recessed central display are no longer cutting edge. Rear accommodation is limited too, while luggage capacity is fair at a useful 345 litres. Volvo has a clever strategy when it comes to engines. It builds turbo petrol and turbo diesel engines, but they all have 4 cylinders and they all have a 2-litre capacity. So the real differences between those engines really is reliant purely on the power output and the torque, and those vary depending on the model. It's a clever strategy in the sense that it allows commonality of parts and economies of scale, while differences in the engine mapping, boost pressure and other optimizations create the dynamic differences that distinguish the various models. A variety of trim levels provide further differentiation. The D3 offers a 6-speed auto gearbox as the only transmission choice. It's been a while since I last drove a Volvo V40, and since then the engines have changed completely, which means that for me this is an all-new car. It's the V40 D3. It has a 2-litre turbodiesel engine. It's closer to the bottom end of the range, and yet it feels very punchy, very willing, very eager. The gearbox a 6-speed automatic with nice slick changes as well, and it really does have a lot of pep if you put your foot down. That pep translates into a 0 to 100 dash of 8.4 seconds and a 210 km/h top speed. But being a turbo diesel, the V40 D3's real on-the-move talents revolve around useful mid-range punch and well-selected ratios. It always feels up to the task. The handling is sure-footed and composed with mild understeer at the limit. However, it lags behind the Germans in refinement terms. So, does this latest V40 raise the bar? Well, it's smart and distinctive, but in a sector spoiled for choice, its inherent age still counts against it. A
A willing turbodiesel engine linked to a slick auto gearbox and well-chosen ratios ensure that the Volvo V40 D3 feels swifter than expected. Subtle upgrades serve more as a reminder of the V40's presence than upping the ante, but the overall result is a well-sorted hatch that's pleasing to drive, with all the mod cons and impressive safety kit. However, it's still not the youngest kid on the block.